Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our weekly Tally CA Connect. This weekly forum that we have exclusively for Chartered Accountants community. And today with us we have CA Anand Porana, okay, who will be showing us various facets of Tally and how not only for our customers and clients, but Tally platform can be used to practice the CA in practice for CA professionals as well. What are the tools are there to manage your practice effectively using Tally? So this is going to be a very interesting session. Allow me to introduce Anand sir to the forum. So CA Anand Porana is a Tally evangelist who has 18 plus years of work experience. Anand sir specializes in Tally training and implementation, and in fact he has implemented Tally training to more than 10,000 participants. Anand sir has been a consultant to various corporates for Tally implementation, and very recently he is also the founder of tallypathy.com. He has created a community to engage and train and have training content for various CAs, which is tallypathy.com, which Anand sir will also show his screen once we start the session. So having said that, Anand sir, over to you. If you can show us what exactly is in store for Tally for CA as a professional and in practice management.
Thank you so much, Janak, for inviting me here. Thank you, Tally, for this opportunity. I'm glad I'm going to talk on this CA firm compliance management using Tally. All right, so let me just share a screen. I'm going to switch between the PowerPoint and Tally. When I say CA practice management, by no means I need to teach you about the CA practice or its management. My purpose of this session is only to show you some of the features available in the default Tally, which can be used effectively when you are doing a compliance management for your firm and for your clients. So this is the only intention which I have. All right. And I'm glad about the participants. This is the first session, probably out of so many sessions I've taken. I've started answering the question and answer even before beginning the session. So it's going to be interactive. Thank you so much. Let's begin. All right. So when we were designing this session, a few questions came from me, like, can I keep a track of my staff visits to the client or the department from within the Tally? Or can I maintain a list of the work received from the client and completed by my team within the Tally? Can I know work done but bills not raised from Tally? Very important. We talk about the revenue leakages in our client's place when we do the audit or the internal audit, but this is like kind of a revenue leakage for us as a firm. How do I send the detailed itemized invoice for services rendered? How do I keep track of the client outstanding partner-wise? Can I send one-click reminder to either to all the customer or to the selected customer of a particular client? So this is what the question is. And how do I maintain the cash system of accounting? Since the CA firm are supposed to maintain the cash system of accounting, however, there is some dilemma because the GST needs to be paid on the accrual basis. So how do I do and what do I do if I have to do this thing? So this was the question which was raised by me, saying that can we answer this question in the default Tally? All right. So does this interest you guys? Quick reaction on the chat box will help me. Let this be a very interactive session. Yes. So let me just begin. So that question related to this agenda of this session, we'll be talking about the client compliance management in Tally, maintaining records for visit or the time spent by the staff or the article clerk, invoices for CA firm, how we can generate the detailed invoicing from Tally and send it to the client, receivable management, some of the MIS reporting for CA firm, and the cash accounting and the accrual accounting, and of course the Q&A. So I'll be covering all this agenda, not necessarily in this order, but by the end of this session, I intend to cover everything what is written in this agenda, and Janak and Komal can ask me the questions if there is some relevant question pertaining to the topic being discussed, or we can take it up at the end in the Q&A. All right. So let's first talk about the client compliance management. So how do we do the client compliance management in Tally? Let me just switch back to the Tally Prime. All right. So in the Tally Prime, if you see, when I'm creating a client master, all right. So let me just create one client master. All right. When I create a client master, I have an option to just put it under the sundry debtors, or I can also classify as a partner 2 Manan or a partner 1 Rohit. Partner 1 and 2 nomenclature is given only for this session. In the real life, you can actually write the name of the partner which is under the sundry debtors. So this way, I can clearly bifurcate which partner is responsible for the follow-up with the Motilal and company. Number one. Number two, as a CA firm, we all have a system of maintaining the files in our office. So Tally gives me the option of the alias here. We can use the alias as, let's say, file number. Okay, and we can write down whatever the file number is there. So it remains as a one record here inside the Tally. Plus, if you see here, there is an option of a more detail. Okay, so I'm clicking on the more detail. There's an option for the notes. I'm turning it off on, and I can write down, let's say, what is his 10 number. All right. What is his maybe PTEC number. Whatever the registration details I need to write, for which there is no specific field given inside the Tally. See why I not written the pen? Because the pen number field is given, but other than that, I can write everything under the notes section. So it again remains in this. All right. So this is how I create my client ledger. Now this was easy. This is no big deal. No rocket science into this. Next topic, that how do I maintain the details of the work received from the client, work done by me or my staff or my article. What is the billing pending? So this is what I need to show you. So if you see, Tally has a system of a sales order, delivery note, and the sales invoice. This is a default feature available in the Tally. Although people use this sales order, delivery note, and the sales invoice where inventory items are applicable. So for a trading organization or for a manufacturing organization, they use this system. I'm proposing that you should use this for your organization also, and this will help. Be with me for the next 7 to 8 minutes and see how does this unfolds. So what I have done is, I'm utilizing the default system of the Tally, whereby I'm going to link the sales order with delivery note and the sales invoice and generate some reports for a CA form. So what I've done is, here I'm coming to the gateway of Tally. All right, I'm going to the go to, and I'm saying alter master. Why alter master? Because I've already created those masters. Once you are doing it for your firm, you can go and create the master. So I'm going to the voucher type, work list. So I've created this voucher type called work list, and it is as a sales order inside the Tally. All right, so this is one configuration. Second is, similarly, I also created the voucher type called work done under delivery note. So you need to create this two voucher type, work list as a sales order and the work done as a delivery note. Sales voucher type we already have, so we need not modify or create anything else. All right, so this is one thing what I've done. Second thing, this is the first proposition. Second, you need to create each of your services as a stock item. This is a one-time configuration. So whatever services you are rendering, create this as a one-time stock item inside the Tally. I've created the couple of them to show you. I will create the new also with you. So I'm going to the stock item. See, I've created the GSTR1. So let's say as a chartered accountant, I am filing a GSTR1. So I've created the GSTR1 as a stock item inside the Tally. I may further classify it or group it under the GST compliances for my purpose. And I've said unit as a numbers because we do not file the half GST return. Either we file or we do not file. So I've said it as a number. And one more thing, here there is an option called provide behavior option. Here you need to treat all sales as a new manufacturer as yes. Otherwise, your stock item will go into negative. So keep this question as yes, treat all sales as a new manufacturer as yes. That's all. This is the only configuration required. Similarly, I have created GSTR 3B. I have created tax audit. Let me just create one more so that you get the fair idea. So I am creating one more stock item. Let's say I am creating internal audit. This is a service I am providing, but I am using it as a stock item. And it may be, let's say I'm creating it under the group audit and assurance services. All right. And again, I'm going to count it as a number. And I'm saying provide behavior option as yes. Treat all sales as new manufacturing, yes. So these are the master configuration required. One, I've created the voucher type. This is a one-time exercise. And two, whatever new services I'm going to provide, I will create that as a stock item. Now, having said this, whenever I receive a work of a client, I need to pass a work list entry. Or at the beginning of the year, each financial year, I will pass the entry for a work list. Let me show you how it is to be passed. So I've created a client called Red Entertainment. Let's say for the Red Entertainment, I'm going to provide the services of the GSTR 1, GSTR 3B, and the tax audit. These are the three services I'm going to provide to the Red Entertainment. So what I've done is I've passed a work list entry. You remember, work list is nothing but the sales order. So by concept, the sales order entry does not affect my books of accounts or my inventory. It is just an order which is received. It is just the client has given me the work for me to carry out this work. Okay, how does this entry look like? So on 1st April, I've passed the entry for Red Entertainment. All right. And after that, now if you see, after that, in the item allocation, I have provided the order number. Okay, I have said I'm going to file, since this is for the financial year 21-22, I'm going to file the March month return on 10th of April, which is due on 10th of April. If there is an extended due date, you may write that also. And this is what the agreed rate is. Okay, so I have said I'm going to file the one GSTR return of March 21, which is due date is 10th of April. Likewise, I have said for the April, May, June, don't worry, you don't have to do this for all the clients. You have to do this only once. I will show you that how you can replicate this without doing it manually every time. You can also copy paste this. I will show you this. So for GSTR 1, I have done this. For GSTR 3B also, I have done the same thing. And for the tax audit also, I have done the same thing. Tax audit I am going to do only once. So I put the order number as TA FY 2021, which is due on 30th September or 31st October, whatever is the date, and the rate. All right. This is what the work is there. Let me just create a new client and show you that if I have to replicate the entire thing with the new client, how I will copy paste this and I don't have to do this again and again. So I'm just creating a client here. Let's say I'm creating a client, Yellow Book Private Limited, which is, let's say, again handled by the partner 1. All right. Now, let's say the Yellow Book Private Limited has given me the work of the GSTR 1 and 3B and not for the tax audit. I'm only the GST consultant. So what I can do is I can again go to that report, display, statement of account, statistic, work list. So I know that it is similar to Red Entertainment except that the tax audit is not there. So what I can do is I can come here, select this entry, and I can press Alt and 2 of the alphabetical pad, not the number pad. So I'm saying Alt and 2. It will duplicate the entry. I will simply say Yellow Book Private Limited, and it is asking me, do you want to change the party ledger? I'm saying yes, and Now for Yellow Book Private Limited, I may have agreed for, let's say, not the 4,500 but the 5,000. So I'm just typing 5,000 once, and it will change the 5,000 for everyone. Okay, every order, every month's GSTR one. For GSTR 3B, let's say the rate agreed is 5,000, so I'm just accepting it. And tax audit is not there, so I will come here and press space bar and remove it as an end of the list. So my order is created for the Yellow Book Private Limited. Okay, so I don't see, as a CA firm, I will only pass this one exhaustive entry about all the services which I'm providing only once. Later on, I can just replicate this entry for the different client, so that my work is reduced to that extent. So this is the work order. Now this is the work received. So where do I see the report? So again, if you see the display, statement of inventory, sales order outstanding, and I'm going to the all orders. Okay, so now if you see, let me just see for the month of May. Okay, so these are the work which is outstanding. See, GSTR 1 of the Black Slate company, GSTR 3B of the Black Slate company, GSTR 1 of the Yellow Book, GSTR 3B of Yellow Book, GSTR 1 and 3B of Red Entertainment is not reflected because that work is already completed by me. Okay, so this is, I just created. So I will come to know that which work is pending. I can give this list to my staff, and they know that what is the due. If you see here, even the due date is written, what is due. And if it is not done, it will also show the overdue. So this is one way of keeping track about the whatever work I am receiving. I can keep on creating those work. Okay. So this is a step one. I am creating the work list. The moment the work is done, let's say now I have filed the GSTR 1 and 3B of Yellow Book Private Limited for the month of April. I will pass the entry in the work done, which is nothing but the delivery note. So now I'm going to the vouchers, and I'm going to the F10 other vouchers, and I'm simply saying work done. Okay, and I'm putting the date at, let's say, 20th April. Party name, I'm saying Yellow Book Private Limited. Now, if you see, the moment I say Yellow Book Private Limited, it will open up all the orders of this party. So I have filed for the March 21. So I have selected that, and the details will be picked up. I don't need to again write this entry. So as a matter of fact, you are only creating the sales order or the work list when received. All other things are getting replicated. Okay, so I have done this work. The moment I do this work and complete the entry, now let's say at the beginning of the year, I pass all the work list entry. As and when the work is getting completed, I'm passing the entry for work completed. So, but I have not yet done the billing. So when I now go to profit and loss account and just expand it by pressing Alt F1, if you see here, it will also show me sales bills to make. Okay, so I'm going inside it. It will show me goods delivered but bills not made. We should read it as a services performed but bills not made. So we have already performed the services for this client, but the bill is not yet made for this client. Okay, now let's say on 30th April, I want to raise an invoice for this. So I'm again going and passing an invoice entry. So I will say F8 sales, professional fees. I'm saying Yellow Books Private Limited. And if you see, the list of tracking number is there, the work which is done. Now, again, it has come. Okay, now further, I can also write some description. So I can say for the month of is already written as a default description. I'm just adding it here for March 21, and I may also write, let's say, the acknowledgement number. If I want to provide some acknowledgement number here, or some other details like, you know, a date of filing. I can put this inside the tally. Okay, and this remains as a permanent record for me. It will also be printed on the invoice. Give me a minute, I will also show you the invoice. I'm saying for the month of March 21, acknowledgement number and say date of filing. So I can say 19th April. All right. I have already done the configuration for GST, so it is getting calculated. All right. So you even you did not bother about this. This is a something called as a voucher class which I have created inside the Tally. So it gets automatically calculated, and it also calculates the round of difference if there is any. So I have passed this entry. Now let me just show you the printout of this, that how this looks like. So I'm just seeing a preview of this. Now if you see, this is a kind of the invoices you can generate from Tally. Saying this is a logo which you can give the logo of your organization, your company details, buyer details, the kind of the services what you have provided with all the details, okay, and signatures. All right, so this also looks very professional. You have the two options here. You can also provide this in the simple format. So if you go to the, after pressing the print command, if you go to the configure and go to the first option, use simple invoice format as yes and accept, and now see the preview. Okay, some people like this format, some people like the other format. So these two options are provided in the default Tally. Okay. All right. Now, that means what I'm doing here is, since I've utilized, just to recapture the things, since I utilized the sales order, delivery note, and the sales invoice in the way which I wanted, what I get is how much work is pending for this month, how much work is completed, but the invoice is not raised. And now when I raise the invoice, I can also raise the itemized invoice along with all the details. So this really gives the information to the client. This really helps me as a CA firm to keep track of my work delivery or a service delivery part of it. Okay. And just to inform, or just to say on the lighter side, I mean, right now I've given you the example of the uh, GSTR1 and GSTR3B. Okay. You can also create this stock item as, let's say, the WhatsApp consulting. You may not charge the client, but let that be getting printed on the invoice. Okay. Or email consulting or whatever it is, So likewise, you know that what kind of the services you are providing to the client. And for this, you did not buy any other CA practice management software. Of course, there are many office management software available in the market. They all serve the different purposes, different depth, different details. But my only take here is, since we are already using the Tally for our billing purposes, why don't we utilize at least this much first before jumping onto some detailed software? Okay, and this gives me the fair information about the work which I have received and the work which is pending. And also, please remember one thing: if you are creating this top entry, or if you are creating this work list entry at the beginning, okay, let me just again show sales order, all order. Now, if you pass all the entry for all the clients at the beginning, you will come to know that what is a kind of the revenue you are looking in this year as a CA firm, and what is the nature and the number of the work you need to do. And therefore, you may also plan your manpower resources accordingly, or you may also talk with the client about the changing of the fee structure or whatever it is. This really gives you the good information right at the beginning of the year. So I suggest to do this at the beginning of the year, or even from today onwards, you can start doing it for the next 9 months. For July to March, you can put in the details and see how it reflects in your organization. All right. Sure. So, Janak, any related question to this? Else I will.
There are a couple of questions. Okay. But do you want to take it at the end, or should I ask?
No, if it is only related, then only I will take. Else we'll move to the.
So there are a couple of questions. Umaj is commenting that it should be better that Tally develops a practice management software for CA firms, and it should be compatible with Tally, or can also function independently instead of modifying the accounting software. So, Umaji, this is what exactly I guess we are seeing, that whatever limited resources that we have in Tally, and how do we best
Yes.
manage to use them
Yes.
rather than going for a fully dedicated module for same. So I think this should help in managing the practice.
My only take, Janak, here is, as I
Yeah.
told you, there are many practice management software available, a detailed one, and either the web based, or and it gives a lot many information, but practically implementation of that in a small and medium sized CA firm remains a challenge. So my only take is, why don't we start with at least this much before jumping onto the larger scheme of the things.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
Thank you, Umaji, for asking that. Sudhakaran KVG is asking how to create professional fees voucher
Voucher class.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, that's really interesting, because that is a kind of the automation what we can do using the Tally. So I'm just going to the go to feature. Now you can go to the voucher type also, but right now I'm saying go to Alt G. I'm going to the voucher type. I'm saying alter master voucher type. I'm going to the sales. See, in the sales voucher type, if you see on the right side, okay, I've created a class called name of the class, and here in the default bank I've given ICICI Bank, so my banking detail will be printed. But coming to the class, I've given here the professional fees. So I'm going into the professional fees. You can also exclude and include the group. Okay, so you may say exclude all other groups, like sundry creditors or the fixed assets, and you can only include the sundry debtors. So it makes sure that whenever you are passing the sales entry under professional fees voucher class, it will only pick up the ledger of the sundry debtors on the right side table, not others. But I'm not taking that right now. I'm saying default ledger is professional fees, because for me as a CFO, everything goes under professional fees. I've selected the ledger of the CGST, SGST, and IGST, all the three. Okay. Why all the three? Because if you see at the end, there's an option, remove if zero is yes. So if it is a local data, it will take the CGST, SGST. If it is an outside state data, then it will take the IGST and remove the other ledgers. And I also created a one ledger called round off. Okay, let me just show you that round off ledger. It may be under expenses, and I'm saying invoice rounding to normal rounding 1, and I also given here as type of the calculation as total amount rounding. Okay, and the normal rounding 1, remove 0 as yes. So what will happen is, now let's say now I'm passing an entry. Let me just go to the sales entry what I've passed right now. Okay, I'm just changing this amount a little bit so as to make it, let's say it's 5032. In reality, it will not be, never be 5032 rupees. I just want to show you this functionality. So the moment you say 5032, okay, let me just pass a new entry rather than this. So I'm saying yellow book. Okay, and let's say I'm saying GSTR 3B. Okay, and I'm saying one quantity and say 5032. Now, if you see, Tally has calculated the GST amount, CGST and SGST, and it has also automatically calculated round off amount. Okay, so as my total invoice will always be in a complete rupee and not the point figure. That is how the functionality works. So again, just one more time showing you this. I went into the go to alter master, voucher type, sales. I'm going to the professional fee class, and I've just given this configuration. You may take a screenshot of this so that you remember that what is to be done about this. All right, Janak. Let's move ahead then. Okay.
Yeah, we'll revisit the question answers.
Yes, we'll revisit the questions. Okay. So this is all about the client compliance management, a very simple proposition, but yes, it has a potential to give you a lot of reporting and the control on you doing your compliance work. Next, recording the visit details. So you can create the optional voucher type under journal, create employee ledger, and start recording visits and details. So let me just show you how. So you can now again go to the, let's say, go to create master voucher type, let's say, or I already created. So let me just not create, let me just alter that. Okay, voucher type staff visit. So I've created a voucher type called staff visit under journal. And more importantly, there's one question here, make this voucher type as default by optional by default. I have set this as a yes. All right. So now whenever I pass any entry, and simultaneously to this, I've created my staff ledger also. I've created my staff ledger also, a couple of staff ledger. Let me just show you. So this is my staff ledger. I can group it under the current assets or wherever I want to. All right. So now I can go and pass the entry. I'm saying F7 journal and I'm saying staff visit. Okay. So let's say my staff has visited for this Motilal and Company. So I will just write 1. Why 1? I will come to that. I can write here, let's say the income tax, or I may devise some nomenclature. Okay, income tax office visit. And I will credit Ravi. So this entry means that Ravi has visited once to the income tax office. This is how I interpret, and the status is optional. So it is not going to hit my books of accounts. Okay, it is not going to hit my books of account. It is just the one visit which has been done to the this. And where I get this report. So let me just pass one more entry before I go to the report, saying that, let's say for yellow book, also there is one. So let's say this is for GST, and another staff has visited. I can write the narration also, whatever I want about the details or submissions. Now I can again say go to, and I say optional vouchers, exception report, optional vouchers. Okay. Now here under, it will give me the list of all the staff visit at one go. I can further filter it out, saying that I require for Gopal or for Motilal and Company or for income tax. So there is a filter facility available in the Tally with an Alt F12. So I'm saying Alt F12 voucher having, let's say, ledgers with the name containing Motilal. So currently there is only one entry, but in real life there may be multiple entries along with the date. So when I want to now bill to the Motilal and Company for ad hoc work, or I want to negotiate the fees, or I just want to inform the client saying that this is what the work has been done, I can simply take a printout of this and give it to him, saying that, you know, this is how the work has been done for you. So again, a very simple feature of the Tally, but just I'm utilizing for my purpose about recording. Some people do not like the optional voucher. So what they do is they create a new company in the Tally and just export import master to the new company and start recording the visit as a normal voucher. That is also perfectly fine. I mean, you know, it is up to you whether you want to keep it as a one company or the multiple company. All right. Next is receivable management. Again, this is very important. So first point I've already done, create client grouping partner wise or manager wise, partner wise. So that will help you to say what is outstanding, and you can view the total outstanding partner wise. Let me just show you. So you remember when we are creating the ledger account, Black Sled Company has been put under partner 1 Rohit. Red Entertainment had been put under the partner 2 Manan. I have just identified as a partner 1 and 2 for this discussion purpose. In real life, it may be the actual name of the partner. Yellow book is under partner 1 Rohit. Likewise, I can keep on doing this. Again, for partner 1 Rohit, there are maybe the 2 manager which is responsible. I can create the subgrouping and do the work. Now I'm just going to the balance sheet and going to the current assets, sundry debtors, and pressing Alt F1. So at one click, I will get to know that what is outstanding from which party, okay, and who is responsible for this collection. Okay, so far so good. It is no big deal. It is simple. Now let me just go to the Red Entertainment ledger. Okay, and I'm clicking on the more details here. Okay, And on the more details, I'm saying the contact details. I have put in as an email ID here as a connect@telepathy.com. Okay, so Red Entertainment, this is the email ID. And for Yellow Book Private Limited, again I'm saying more detail, contact details, and I'm putting an email ID here. Let's say I'm putting the email ID as anand@aspadvisors.co.in. Okay. So what I want to show you right now is, can I send this outstanding email to all the parties simultaneously at a click of the button from Tally? Okay, this is my intention, and that's why I said, if you see the Yellow Book Private Limited email ID is anand@asapadvisors.co.in, and for Red Entertainment email ID is connect@telepathy.com. Okay, all right. Now, I already done the email configuration, but even if you have not done the email configuration, from the gateway of Tally, you can go to the email and go to the configuration and say show more and do a basic configuration about the email. Okay, so this is a predefined email profile. I have one. Okay, so it is basically I've given my email details and whether it is Gmail or what server it is. So Tally has given the pre-configuration for Gmail, Hotmail, Outlook, and Yahoo Mail. If you are using anything else like Rediff Mail or some other, then you may need to fetch this detail of the server address, port number, and use SSL yes or no from the respective email service provider, which is very easy to get. I mean, it will be available on your email configurations. But for Gmail, most of the people use Gmail, so this is by default given. So that's the email configuration you need to do. That's all. There is no other email configuration is required. Once you do this email configuration, now my purpose is to send email to all the clients for which the invoices are outstanding at a click of the button from Tally. Okay, so I'm going to the email. I'm saying others. Under others, there is an option called all ledger accounts. Okay, so I'm saying all ledger accounts. I'm saying email from anand.kauran@gmail.com and email to, if you see email to, I will not select a particular email. Okay, Black Slat has Anand, Yellow Book has Anand at ASAP, Red Entertainment has Connect. So I'm saying all ledgers, email to all ledgers. Okay, and I can write the email message here, what I want to write as a body of the message, and I can simply say this. I can select the file format from here, which file format is required. So I want to attach a PDF. That's all. My configuration is done. I can send email. And I will just say email and put my password here. Now Tally will send the email. Let's say you have the outstanding from 100 clients. Tally will send the 100 emails. Each one will get its own outstanding. Let me show you. Okay, so let me just show you from my account. So I will send it from anand.pauran@gmail.com. Do you remember? Yes. So I'm just logging into that account. Now in this account, if you see, I have sent the email, so it should reflect under my send items. Okay. So I'm going to the send items. Just a minute, guys. Yeah. So now if you see the send item, there are two emails which has gone right now at 3:38. I have not sent it. It has been sent by Tally. The first email which has gone is to the ID called connect@telepathy.com, and if I open the attachment, it is for the Red Entertainment only. Only one page has gone to Red Entertainment saying that this is your ledger. And the second email which has gone is to the another ID for the Yellow Book Private Limited. Okay, so don't worry, Tally will not send the all the ledger to all the party. It will send the particular ledger to the particular party at the click of the button. So this is very useful feature, and this is by default available inside the Tally. Okay, so that helps. So and any question around the email, guys? I mean, it's very simple but profound feature available. So yes, all right. So this is how we do the receivable management by classifying the clients partner wise or manager partner wise, viewing the outstanding and sending the email at a one click of the button. I mean, I know for most of the mid-sized CFM or a small CFM, calling for the outstanding is a big task, and the CFM never gives attention to it, frankly. But yes, with this, maybe some liquidity will go out. All right. There are not many additional MIS available inside the Tally. Okay, so I'm not going into each of this, but couple of them, like say for example, you can redesign your own balance sheet and profit and loss account to suit your requirement. Let me just show you how does this work. And this is again one of the very old feature, but people are not utilizing it. Okay, so let me go to the profit and loss account, or say balance sheet. Under balance sheet, let's say, so I can redesign the profit and loss and balance sheet for a group level also, or for a leisure level also. First, let me show you at a group level. So here, let's say there's a capital account and there's a loan liability account. I don't have much data, so I'm just showing you a concept here. So now, for some reason, I need a loans liability account to come above capital account. Okay, and the capital account to come below. So how can I do this? So here at a, I'm just pressing Control Enter, capital account, and there's an option here under F12. There's an option here under F12 which says provide position index of the groups. So I made the question as yes. Therefore, there's a position index which is coming here is a 10. Okay. So just remember, capital account has a position index of 10. Now, if I go to loans and liability, it has a position index of 20. Now, I want loan liability to come above capital account. So what I can simply do is I can go to the capital account and change this number. After 20, I will simply say 21. So now if you see, my balance sheet is changed. Okay, same thing works for my ledger accounts. Okay, so let's say, let me just show this a ledger wise first. So by default, Tally sort this out as a alphabetical order, but for some reason I want the Yellow Book Private Limited to come above Red Entertainment, or the more appropriate example would be for my profit and loss account. Let's say, let me just create a few entries here. All right. I will just quickly create one entry, a simple one entry. Don't worry about a negative cash balance or something. So I'm just creating entry at a fly. Okay. Never mind the amount. Okay. Let me just say. Okay. I think you will understand the concept quickly. So let me just restrict myself to 2. So now when I go to profit and loss account, so one is I can create the multiple group inside the profit and loss account, saying that this is my staff cost, this is my establishment cost, okay, this is my books and periodical cost. So I can create the multiple groups, number one. And within that group also, I can sort like I sorted in the capital and the loans. And within the group, if I want this to sort, let's say I want round off to come as last because it's always a petty amount and I don't want to affect. Okay, so I can go to the conveyance, and again I can say F12, and there's an option for position index, which I've made it as yes, So there's a position index of 1000 for conveyance, 1000 for round off, because all pertains to indirect expenses, so it will only say 1000. Now, if I want round off to come at the end always, I will simply go to the round off and maybe put it as 1001. That's all. So it will always come last, irrespective of the alphabetical order, it will always come last. Okay. So this way, you can actually design your profit and loss and balance sheet to look like the way you want. And one more thing, this sort facility is available per company. So you can do it for client also, you can do it for your company also, or a different balance sheet format and the P&L format in the different company also. It is all up to you. All right. I'm skipping the first part. Last point I'm taking is, after that I will start with the Q&A. Cash base of accounting versus the accrual base of accounting. So why this conflict in the first case? See, for a CA firm, we need to maintain the accounts in the on the cash basis for income tax and audit purposes. However, for GST purposes, we need to do the billing on accrual basis and pay to the government the taxes, irrespective of whether the our customer has paid us or not. Okay, so in a way, I will need to maintain the accrual basis for my billing, but for everything else, I can do a cash basis. Data will still be maintained at a cash basis. So there is a conflict. What should I do? My suggestion here is, and there is no perfect solution to this, but how can we handle this scenario into Tally? A very simple proposition. My suggestion is start maintaining your accounts on accrual basis as discussed in this session, like work list, work done. So you get all the compliance list, and it is an accrual base of accounting. So you can generate your GST liability from Tally, paid to the government. However, at the end of the year, when we want to convert my books of accounts from accrual basis to the cash basis, what I will do is, let's say I go to the Tally, I go to the balance sheet. I'm just changing it to the horizontal view. So there are two ledger which is outstanding. I know about this. Okay. So now what we should do is, my year is completed. Till now I have maintained my accounts on the accrual basis. Now I want to convert this onto the cash basis. So what I will do is, there is a total of 23,048 is outstanding. I will just reverse calculate it, saying that what is a GST component. So I'm just noting this down as a 19,532 as my professional fee and the balance as my GST. Okay, let me just 23,048 minus 19,532. Okay, so this is a GST component. 19,532 is my actual outstanding or pertaining to professional fees. 3,516 is my GST component into it, and that's how it's a 23,048 which has come in. So what we'll do here is, we'll pass a simple entry here. Let me just go inside any one of the, I'm passing an entry on 31st of March. Okay, I'm passing a journal entry, a proper journal entry, where I'm saying is, I'm debiting my professional fees. Okay, I'm debiting my professional fees without giving the item details with the 19,532, which was the basic amount. 19,532. I will create one more ledger and debit it as, let's say, GST. I may write it as a paid on accrual for my understanding. I mean, nomenclature you may decide, but I'm just writing it as a GST paid on accrual with the 3,516. Okay, so with the 3,516, and I'm crediting a new ledger called, let's say, debtors control account, and I'm creating under sundry debtors. That's all. I may skip it as an on account. That's okay. Now, if you now look at my balance sheet, there is no sundry debtors. On the face of it, there is no sundry debtor. It is nullified. Okay. My professional fees is reversed to the extent of the not received. Since I have not passed any receipt entry, it is not received and everything is reversed. And there's a new ledger which has come into the balance sheet called GST paid on accrual. On the 1st April next year, I will simply reverse this entry so that my all the data outstanding bill wise, service wise will be available to me. And again on the next 31st March, I will see what is outstanding and I will reverse this entry. So this is a simple proposition of converting your books of accounts from accrual to cash basis, since we need to maintain on both the bases. All right. So yes, that was the coverage from my side. I will be happy to take the questions right now also, and the contact details are given. If anyone wants to touch base on this, you can always connect with me. All right. So Janak, I think we can start taking the questions now.
Yeah, in fact, before we take the questions, So many people are asking, will the recordings of this session be available? So what I'm doing is I'm leaving the link where the recording will be available in the chat box.
Okay.
So in case somebody wants to revisit this and our previous webinars also, all of them have been recorded and kept in one place. So I have just dropped in a text.
Great.
So now moving on to question answers. Anand sir, there are so many questions. I think this session is really so many participants asking so many doubts. I'll take them one by one.
Sure.
Yes. So anonymous attendee is asking, can you show order details being entered in work list voucher again?
All right, I will show that again. So you want me to show the entry, right? So what I've done is I'm going to that report again, work list. So at the beginning of the year, I've just passed an entry that I have received an order or a work from Red Entertainment, and I'm saying that, see, once I've created the GSTR one as a stock item, okay, and one more thing, I will go to the F12 here, and there's an option called provide order number for each stock item. Make this question as yes. So I can give the order number for each stock item. Okay. So I'm just saying GSTR1 and I'm giving this order number March 21. I've created the March 21 as an order number. You may say Red Entertainment or the RE/March 21. It is absolutely up to you. How do you do the nomenclature? But once you do like this, March 21, April 21, the proposition is you can replicate this to the other client immediately. So I believe the anonymous attendee wanted to see this only. If not, please write back again and we'll try and sort out your queries. Yes, Janak.
Yes. Just hold on. Jiten sir has raised his hand. He would like to add something.
Yes.
Yes, Jiten bhai.
Hello, Anand
yes.
sir.
Yes, Jiten bhai. Good afternoon.
Yeah. Acha sir, if you can show that depreciation in position index, because generally depreciation comes at A, B, C, D alphabetically. So generally in profit and loss we show at the end.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so see what Jiten bhai is saying this, the position index what we have created. So there are two things what we can do here is we can create the ledger called depreciation. Let's say I've created a ledger called depreciation on, let's say, computer. I will further classify it as a depreciation on fixed assets, okay, which is my indirect expenses. And let me just pass one entry here. Don't mind, I don't have the computer right now, but I will still pass a depreciation onto it just to show you that how does this work. And I'm crediting the computer. All right. The moment I do this, see, this is depreciation on fixed asset has come as an indirect expenses. Okay, so this is how we generally do. Now, there are two options here. Either I can keep the group separate right now. So I will just go to the depreciation on fixed asset and I will not club it under indirect expenses, but I will say as a primary, and under primary, I will say expense. Okay. Now if you see, it has come as an indirect expenses and below that depreciation has come in. So this is again a very useful when I go to the vertical view of this. So I'm just changing a view and going to the vertical. This is how it will come. Depreciation comes last. Okay, so this is what the Jiten bhai wanted me to show to all of you. Thank you, Jiten bhai.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Moving on to next question, Anand sir.
Yeah.
Jayesh ji is asking, in printing of invoice, it is coming description of goods. Without any help of TDL, can we change it to description of services?
No, I don't think so. We can do it that way. We will have to contain ourselves with the description of the goods. So this is what the Jayesh bhai is asking. When I see the preview, this is what the description of the goods he is saying. Correct. So no, without TDL, it is not possible. I don't think so. Yes.
Even if Anand workaround is required, so I believe it won't be much of workaround will be required, even in case of TDL.
No, it's very simple TDL to say that way. But yeah, default tally it will come as a description of goods.
Yes, yes. Prasad is asking how to change rate of a service in between the year. Let's say GSTR1 rate changed from January.
Okay. If the GSTR rate has changed from January, okay, interesting question. So let me just again go to that work list. Now, the thing is that if the rate is changing in between from January, if I go here and put the rate, it will change in all and I will not be able to change at a later part of it. Okay. So what probably I have to do is I will have to select that item again. Let me just, okay, let me just say, I can probably select that item again. Okay. And I can say that this is from October 20 and which is due date is 10th of November and the rate is maybe has changed to 6,000. Then I have to bifurcate the GSTR1 into two parts. In the same entry, I can do this. So first I will write GSTR1 and put the details only up to say September. Okay, I will not put it after September. And after that, I will just select the October month and I will put this. So I can do this in the same entry, but it's interesting question because the rate remains same in that entry. All right. Janak, I hope I have answered that.
Yes. In case of any questions, you can revert again.
Yeah.
So Jayesh is asking now, can we get list of GETR1 work pending list?
GSTR1 work pending list. Yes, we can get. So here, Jayesh probably knows this, but he wants me to show it to participant. So display statement of inventory under sales order outstanding. I went into the all orders. Instead of all order, I can go into the stock item and I can simply go to the GSTR1. It will show me the all the GSTR work which is outstanding. So I'm sure Jayesh knows this.
Yeah, I mean maybe he wants to
Yes,
just
want me to show
awareness.
Thank you, Jayesh. Yeah.
Yes. In fact, CA Uttam sir has raised his hand. Let me.
Yes.
Hi Uttam sir, you can you
Hi,
speak?
sir. Happy evening.
Happy evening.
Hello, sir.
Hello. See the rate change. The best option will be to close your orders which are pending, pre-close the orders, and issue fresh orders.
Yeah, but he's saying that that option is always workable. But let's say maybe I understood the question as that for the first 6 months I'm going to get 5,000, and from the next 6 months I'm going to get 6,000. If I know pre-hand, I can do it pre-hand while passing the entry, or otherwise, if I come to know later on, let's say first I have created the my work list at 5,000 rupees, but at the mid of the year, I come to know that I have revised the thing. I can always pre-close the order and I can punch a fresh entry. Yes, Uttam, you are absolutely right.
That is the right way because that will help you in having the security over the data.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Uttam.
Sorry,
yes.
Anand sir, can I?
Yes.
This GSTR1 you have opened under which this item?
Okay,
Stock
item.
GSTR1.
Okay, I will show you. I just created under the GSTR compliances kind of a thing.
Yeah. And
I created a group called GST compliances. I mean, it is up to you how you want to classify this.
GST applicable, yes, or what?
GST is applicable, no, sir?
See, now at the type of supply, if you take services,
yes,
then that description of purchase will come to description of services.
All right.
I think so. Yeah.
Let us see. I'm not sure about this, Jitin, but let us see this. Or it will come as a goods/services. Let us see this. Yes, it will come as a description of goods and services. Maybe if I change to GSTR 3B also, it will come as a services. Let me just do it for services.
So this will solve our purpose.
Yes, this will definitely solve our purpose. Yes, it will come as a description of services. Yes, I think that question is also answered. Thank you, Jitan bhai.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, Manishji has raised hand. Manishji, yes, I have unmuted you if you would like to speak.
Sir, as you shown us all the petty miscellaneous services and widgets in case of professional companies, similarly, can we maintain this whenever employees are coming, when they come and by hourly basis or on daily basis, how much they are coming to our company, means timekeeping kind of thing in payroll module or something like that?
So, see, not in the payroll module, Tally doesn't provide a facility of the timekeeping or this. But yes, if you want to be more creative, okay, then you can always create that as a stock item and create an entry for the inward and outward. I mean, what time they are coming and going, that you can always do. See, I have seen the CA firm using this concept for, say, the management of the library books, by passing a debit and credit entry and debiting the employee who is taking the books and again crediting the employee when they return the books. Some people use this innovatively for, let's say, their laptop management. Now, in the pandemic, we all have given the laptop to all our employees, how to keep a track. So they create a stock item of the laptop and then debit the employee who has taken and credit. So all those, yes, it is possible to do this. You have to be a little bit more creative about this. The purpose of the session was that only, that you can utilize the default features available in the Tally the way you want, not necessarily going by the nomenclature of the sales order or the delivery note. Yeah, that was the purpose. So I will not
And you just said that whatever your in and out time will be maintained, how the difference and total hours will be calculated. Can you show any examples, sir?
How the in and out time would be calculated? No, in and out time you cannot measure. You can only measure the number of hours. So in the attendance, you can only say that he was present today for maybe say 8 hours. But if you're asking me for the time, no, that is not done. That is not possible to do right now.
Means we have to create the log by putting the data inside.
Yes,
and
so
then
you can say that he was
Excel
present. So you can say he was present for 8 hours. So instead of a number as a unit of measurement, you can have the hours as a unit of measurement, and you can say he was present for 8 hours, he was present for 9 hours, he was present for 10 hours, something like it. But wanting Tally to calculate the differential is not feasible as of now in the default.
Means we have to go for some TDL kind of thing.
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Manish. I'll come to the questions and answer. First, we'll wrap the Q&A and then
Yes.
we'll take oral questions. So Meghna ji is asking how all amounts got changed when you changed only for the first month in the work list vouchers while replicating voucher.
Yeah, so that is what the trick is, that this is how the Tally works. When you go to the work list and change any amount, because the Tally says that in the one order, one item can have the multiple deadlines or the multiple delivery dates. However, sorry, I'm into work done by error. Let me just go to the work list. So Tally says that the one item in the one order can have the multiple delivery dates or a multiple schedule. However, the rate has to be same since it is the same item from the same party and the same order. So that is what the default logic of the Tally. So if I'm changing this, it will change for every month. Okay, if you want it separate, then as I told you, you will need to select that item again. Or as Uttamji pointed out, if I come to know afterwards, then I can pass a separate sales order entry. All right.
Yeah. So Apnesh ji is asking, we have different SAC codes which are now compulsory. So different ledgers under professional fees with respective SAC codes would be advisable. What is your view on this?
So we can do either way. We can create a separate ledgers with a separate SSC code. This will work, or we can also create the separate item with the separate SSC code and keep the ledger as same, and it will work. Either way is fine. It is up to you how you want to configure your Tally. Either way is fine. Okay.
Next question is again from Jayesh ji, Anand sir.
Yes.
He's asking if one debtor's work attended by different partners, say GST work by partner 1 and tax audit by partner 2, then how should we handle such an exigency?
Yes, I'm sure Jayasbhai knows about this also. See, see, in this case, this system will not work. In that case, we have to utilize the concept of the cost center provided by the Tally, and we will have to create the area of practice as a cost center, like income tax or a GST. And then we have to take inside the entry that what it is, and we may also utilize the cost center and cost category, whereby one category would be for the practice area and one category would be for partners, and we can keep on tagging in the entries and get the outstanding or the income reports. Yes, it is possible, but it's a separate, entire separate concept, and I'm not touch upon this today because it requires a lot of time to understand that and implement that. The purpose of this was to show the simple configurations here.
Yes.
All right.
In fact, he is asking if we are aware about any TDLs available in the market that caters only to the CA profession. Are there any TDLs that you are aware of, Anand sir?
There are available, which basically converts your cash to the accrual. Other than that, there is nothing special in those TDLs. So, but that is very easily handled in the default Tally. So, yeah, I would restrict myself to this answer.
Yeah. One can also explore Tally Shop to
Yes.
see what suits one's requirement, because
Yes.
it won't be fair to comment
Yes.
which is right and where you can refer.
Absolutely,
You can refer to Tally Shop.
absolutely. Yeah.
So Mohanji is asking, sir, can we send e-invoices by a click of a button?
Can we send invoices also by a click of the button? Yes, it works the same way. Inside the invoice, if you want to send the invoice, when you are inside the invoice, you can simply say email. Instead of a print, you can say email current, and the rest of the process remains the same. You simply write, please find attach your invoice, and it will go. Yes, kindly start exploring the email option available inside the Tally. It is given very nicely. Yes.
Yeah. Manikanta ji is asking, can we repeat a journal entry every month?
Can we repeat a journal entry every month? I am probably assuming Manikanta ji is asking if the entry is same every month with the amount also and the ledgers also, how do we do it? So again, the simple facility of the all two, you pass the entry once, just say all two and change the date, and it will work. I mean, there is nothing, we cannot schedule any entries, but yes, we can replicate the entries.
Yeah. Vikas ji is asking, what if I work free for my family and friends?
Common problem for many CA firms. You can create that ledger also and just create a work list, send the delivery, but do not, maybe you do not write the amount. So there is an option of passing the entry without the amount. So you do not write the amount. That's all. I mean, it is possible to do that.
Yes. Anil Jindal ji is asking, please explain the sales details of GST, etc. settings in vouchers.
Oh, so GST setting is entirely a different thing. But yes, here I have simply created the three ledgers. So simply created the three ledgers, which I can show you: CGST, SGST, and IGST. So under duties and taxes, GST and the type of the ledger, central, state, or integrated tax, as the case may be. And here you don't define any percentage. That's all. You define the percentage at a company level, and it will work. I mean, otherwise it will require a separate session for this. So I'm not going into much detail into that.
Shall I just give one?
Yes.
Yes, sir. The free cost, they can create a group of ledgers under a group called free service. And when they do the invoicing class, they can say, do not raise an invoice against free class. So no invoice can be raised against that.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough, sir.
Yes.
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Yes, Jay, you are asking something? Okay, some technical issues. I'll move on to the next question. Mark D'Souza is asking a question. You said you can create a new group, for instance, schedule name in balance sheet. Please clarify the statement.
Yes, so I can create a new group in the balance sheet in the P&L wherever I want. So let's say, for example, in my default balance sheet, there's a group called fixed asset, investment, and the current asset. I want some other group also to come on the face of the balance sheet. Okay, let's say for instead of a current, there is a one group called current liability and loans and liability. But I want to come as a secured loan and the unsecured loan on the face of the balance sheet. How do I do it? So I can simply create the group. I'll simply create the group called, let's say, secured loans, or say loans. It is already there. Secured loan is already there, so it is not allowing me to create. I just change the name of it for a discussion. Loan secured, and I don't want to put it under any other group. I will simply say primary. If I want this group to appear on the face of the balance sheet or P&L, I will always select as a primary. The moment I select as a primary, it will ask me where in the primary. I mean, what is the nature of the asset, expense, income, or liability. So I'm saying liability. So now if you see, in my balance sheet, there will be a group called loan secured. It will come once some entries are there. Okay. So if I create any ledger under that, okay. And now let me just pass some entries into that. See, now loan secured has come on the face of the balance sheet. Again, if I want to change the order, I always have the position sort index at my help to change the order. This is how we create the group on the face of the P&L or the balance sheet in the Tally. All right.
Yes. Before we proceed, Darshan, one help I would need from your end. There are some queries which are not related to this session. Can you take them up through typing them? So it will help us focus on the queries that we need to address.
Yeah. Yes, I'll take it up.
Yeah. Akshay Jain ji is asking, is there any option to map payment received against invoice?
Yes, it is against reference, a simple against reference. So when I have created the, so let's say this is what the entry was passed. So when I have passed this entry, now if I'm receiving the payment against this entry, okay, and I'm passing a receipt entry. Okay, so yellow books, let's say I'm receiving 10,000 against this. So there's an option, method of adjustment, against reference, new reference. So the moment I say against reference, it will show me all the pending bills and I can click on this and say this is received against this. So this is a very simple and the old feature. So yes.
Yes. Moving on to the next question, Jagdishan Prabhakar ji is asking, the IT department may treat the accrual system as correct book of accounts and ignore the general entry for reversal of outstanding fees at the year end. So is it a statement or a question? I did not completely understand.
Yeah.
But Anand sir, maybe if you can help.
See, I am not the authority on the how the IT department will take this. Okay, but I'm not sure. Means many CA firm are doing this already. So I'm not sure onto this. Maybe I don't know. I'm not the expert on the income tax. Okay.
Meghna ji is asking, can we change type of supply to services under stock item master instead of goods? If it helps,
we already changed this and explained. That is already been shown. Yes.
Yes, so I think that is covered. There are just hold on. Rajesh Arora ji is asking, during the year, one of the clients surrenders the GST number. How to update the master to provide us proper GSTR report that it's changed from registered to unregistered.
Okay, so although unrelated to this session, however, currently Tally doesn't provide the facility of if this is the case where the GST number has been surrendered, you may have to create a separate master for that and change it to the unregistered so as not to affect the past data. Okay.
Yeah. So in fact, Anand, I request you to glance once through the questions. Many I am finding unrelated. You want to pick any of them?
Sure, I will do that. Okay. So again, explain the mail feature of Tally. Please refer the recording. Okay. How to configure how to configure balance sheet and P&L account as per Companies Act. So, as per Companies Act, there are two related questions from Mr. Waghela and Mr. Prem. Can we classify the group as per schedule of balance sheet and P&L like notes to the balance sheet are 1 to 20 or should? So I have shown you the facility whereby you can create the separate groups onto the Tally and use this sort edit facility. Maybe you can use that and create your own balance sheet and P&L as per the Companies Act or as per any other thing. It may not be exactly as per Schedule 3, but yes, a lot of information gets captured. So, all right, so I will do this. Okay. Then, how to print signature on the vouchers and how to add logo. How to add logo is there in the configuration. Signature is not there in the Tally. It is in simple add-on available or TDL available. But yes, how to add the logo? You can go when you are going to the printing. There's a configuration. Under configuration, you can simply type logo and see there is a include company logo as yes. The moment you say yes, you can give the path and the logo file. That's all, and it will print in the your invoice. So yes, I think that answers this question. Let me just go to the next. Most of my clients using Tally Prime, and in our office we are using Tally ERP9. Can we import the client's Tally data from Tally Prime? Strictly not advisable, CA Abdul. But in your office, you keep both the copy of the Tally Prime and Tally ERP9 on the same license number, and it should work. I mean, you need not buy the additional license, but the same license which you are having for Tally ERP9, you can upgrade to Tally Prime and keep both the versions of the Tally in your office. Whoever sends you the data in Tally ERP9, open in Tally ERP9. Whoever sends you the data in Tally Prime, open in Tally Prime. That is the simple.
Anand sir, can encouraging clients to upgrade to Tally Prime be one of the options?
No, but he's saying other way around. Most of my clients using Tally Prime. He's on to Tally ERP9.
So, Abdulji, now that is something that as custodians of accounting software and advisors, the least that we can do is showcase the benefits of Tally Prime and why it is 10x more powerful than ERP. No doubt ERP is a gem of a software, but Prime has some inherent strengths as well. So at least a trial version can be adopted by all our clients and see how do they feel about the product, and then maybe we can take it from there. Yeah. Yes, Anand sir, please.
Yeah, so can digital signature be added to invoices? It's a customization. Okay, so then how to view the average balance in the ledger in the Tally Prime daily balance view, which was available? I'm sure there is an option under the change view. Just explore once. I'm not taking that, not relevant to the session. How to connect the Tally while working from home by to our most staff. So again, this is a something Tally remote working facility is available. Unrelated, so I'm not taking this up right now. But yes, we can connect offline, or you may connect with the Darshan or Janak here, and they will help you out with this. Do you know the plan of Tally for Mac version? I'm unable to use it on Mac. Again, unrelated. So Janak, you may connect with the Janak and Darshan, and they may help you out with this. Any option to enter effective date of GST and in Data Master? No. At presently, no. This is answered. Sir, in the invoice, it shows description of the goods. So this is also answered. Description of services. I have migrated all data to Tally Prime and also want to open the same in Tally ERP9, but not able to do the same. Yes, so the once you migrate to Tally Prime, let's not open in the Tally ERP9. Okay, if the client is using Tally Prime, you also use Tally Prime. There is way to open in Tally ERP9, but strictly it is not advisable. Once you migrate to the higher version, remain in the higher version. Okay. Can we classify the? I think we answered all the questions then, Janak. About 40 questions has been covered, more than 40.
Yes. All the questions are answered, and one of the questions was, will that session be available on the link shared? Yes, that session will be available on the CA community page. Yeah, Jayeshji, over to you. You wanted to ask something?
Yes. Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Anand sir.
Yes.
Say, being a TSPL is considering CA as a channel partner, so they can promote the product of the Prime very well. So can it be possible for the TSPL to generate the TDL for the CA purpose? I am not telling TSPL to make a vertical module, but specifically for the CA purpose.
Right. So Jay, I am not the right person to answer this question. Probably Janak or Darshan will take up or maybe connect with you later on. But yes, I am not the right person to answer on the partner channel right now. Okay, I will restrict myself to the product exploration.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
fine.
Jayji, all your
Through you,
feedback on
through you,
product you
hello,
can.
Anand
Yeah.
sir. So
Yeah.
through you, can I put the request to the TSPL and Darshan is also there to promote you?
Sure, Jay, we'll connect on to this with Darshan.
Fine. Okay, fine. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Jayesh bhai.
Anand sir,
Yes.
Acha, this groups that they have given Tally, many people they change the group names, masters. Other than primary, what are the groups given? So generally, people should avoid changing the group names
Yes.
and create a new groups or subgroups or whatever it is.
Absolutely. Important tip from coming in from my friend Jitin Bhai, that whenever you are creating a new group, do not change the name of the existing group. Create a new group for yourself. Do not change the existing group. It has some implication in the terms of the when you sync the data and like. So don't change the existing group name or any existing master or voucher type. Create the new voucher type. Create the new master for yourself. Tally is the unlimited new master creation. Thank you. I think I conclude here from my side. If anything is there, yeah, Janak.
Yeah, so again, there is a query which is not related to the session, but let me read it out. If we can answer that, the last query we can take. Is there any way where data from Tally server cannot be viewed, deleted by any client server?
There is a possibility. Tally has a product called Tally Prime Server with the Tally Prime, and with the Tally ERP9, there was a Tally Server 9 was there. So currently it is a Tally Prime Server. It's an enterprise level product is there, which can help you doing this in a certain way, whereby you user or the client server will not know where the data resides at all. Okay, they will only know the name of the data, but they will not know that where on the server the data is there. So that will help. Thank you, Jayesh bhai. Thank you, Sudhakaran ji.
Yes, Manish Agrawal ji is raising hand. Manish ji, you wanted to ask something? Manish ji? Okay, fair enough. In fact, Anand sir, let me genuinely extend my heartfelt thanks to you. This is one of the most engaging sessions in terms of both verbal participation, question answers, comments. I have had to continuously monitor chat, Q&A and everything. And in fact, I needed help of Darshan and Komal also here. So on behalf of the whole participants, let me extend my vote of thanks to you for being part of such a wonderful session. On behalf of Anand sir and team Tally, let me extend my vote of thanks to all the participants for making this session so engaging. This session, as discussed, will be mentioned, will be shared on uploaded on the website. And please, next week we have Uttam sir, who will be taking again a session on user controls. He's there in the session. So again, we have another evangelist speaker coming next Wednesday. So I'm sure that will be equally engaging session. And in fact, we will try to keep getting better with every passing session. So thank you, everyone. And Anand sir, finally, big thanks to you.
Thank you, Janak. Thank you, Darshan, for working in the background and supporting. Thank you, Komal. Thank you, everyone at Tally. And thank you, participants.